not a big video. You're not even a therapist anymore. What are you afraid of? I just don't like, is it the noise? It's not the noise. It's the concept. It's the concept. The fucking mail. Just kidding. The mail, not the postal workers are the sweetest. It's not them. It's the mail in itself. Anyway, Stephanie, are you podcasting? What are we doing? Hi, guys. Hi, guys. Welcome back to My Therapist Said. My name is Stephanie, and I am your host. Welcome back to the show, you guys. How the fuck are we feeling? What's going on? How are we? Hi. I'm wearing glitter eyeliner today. We have to call that out in the first 5 because you guys have to understand that, yeah. Thank you. I was like, do you need a lash? And of course I need a lash, but we're going no lash. It's going to be fine. Do I wish I had a 48? If you know MAC Cosmetics, you know what time it is. I wish I had a 48. You guys know, if you that we're really going to throw back. Do you guys remember 35s? 35s don't even exist anymore. They have been discontinued, which is pretty much the saddest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Is that dramatic? Sure. Sure. But anyway, it's a freaking Wednesday. Where's Bubs? Good question. Where's Bubs? He was literally in the office for the past hour while I was doing my glitter eyeliner, which takes time. And now he's gone. He's gone. He heard a car that sounded maybe like school, and he thinks he's going to school. He's not. He's not. It's Wednesday. This episode is going to be chit-chat. I saw Obsession over this past week, and I have to talk about it. You guys know I've been trying to talk about horror movies more, so I saw Obsession and have some thoughts. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to spoil it for you. And no shame in my game. And it's like, because you can turn it off. I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to spoil that motherfucker like a motherfucker. So that's that. And then I want to talk about a documentary I watched, and then talk a little bit on self-trust and... enjoy. Let's dive in. Hi guys. What the fuck is going on? First of all, what the fuck is going on? Happy fucking Wednesday. How are we feeling? I'm feeling incredible in my glitter eyeliner. Oh my god. Sometimes I'm just like, you guys are, I'm not going to say it again, but I'm going to say it a million more times. Sometimes I really just do be feeling like that bitch when I realize I still have skills in my freaking tool belt where I'm like this, oh, glitter eyeliner, I know how to do that. What? How? Why? Because I was a bad bitch makeup artist for 10 years before I decided to be a bad bitch therapist. And made more money as a makeup artist. Anyway, hello. We are not here to talk about that today, Stephanie. Happy Wednesday. Today I went to yoga. What are my little updates? Why am I feeling better? Well, okay. Stephanie, collect your thoughts. Dun, 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 dun. Hi, welcome back. Jesus Christ, Stephanie. Today's Wednesday. Okay, Stephanie, focus. So I went to yoga this morning, and I did feel like a bad bitch. I did really, really well. I'm starting to go to a different spot in the studio. Why is this all relevant? It just is. Because I was feeling like bad for a while. You guys heard it a couple weeks ago. I was crying in a yoga class on a Monday, and it was so embarrassing. But then I was like, maybe I shouldn't be driving this far to yoga every morning. Then I was like, maybe I just need to go back to my old studio. Then I was like, maybe it's just not meant to be. Then I was like, my intrusive thinking be intrusive thinking, and I'm like, maybe it's just dangerous to drive this early in the morning. Maybe this, maybe that. Maybe the universe is trying to tell me something. If you have OCD, sometimes your spirituality gets a little bit risky and not rooted in logic. It's just being silly goose business. So I was freaking out, and then I was like, hey, Stephanie, hello? Hey, girl. What if you just shifted your practice? What if it's like you just don't, because I used to go to the same spot, so hot. Everyone was like, why don't you just go closer to the door? It'll be cooler. I'm like, I'm not going to go closer to the door. Rather quit yoga than go closer to the door. Does that make any logical sense? No, it does not. So instead of quitting yoga, I was like, maybe we'll just go closer to the door. After I cried, I had a moment where I was like, hey, Stephanie, come here. Hey, come here. Quick talk. You know, I hate when people tell me that. I'm not going to start this with that then. Why are you feeling distracted? I'm just feeling distracted. There's a squirrel. Oh my God. Squirrels are literal gymnasts. The way they just be like jumping from branch to branch. I always wonder, do they ever fall? And then where do they sleep at night? I also have that question about birds. Where do they go? Where do the birds go? Some people think birds are not real. I love that conspiracy theory. I'm like, I'll co-sign any conspiracy theory for the most part, because I like to lean into we don't know. So when people are like, hey, here's something wild, I'm like, well, maybe. Anyway, so yoga. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to a different spot at yoga closer to the door because I'm trying to check my ego and not cry through every single class. And I do feel better. This morning was funny. She was asking, my teacher was like, okay, do your chair pose. And this is like towards the end of class. And she literally says, do chair pose. And my legs are fucking, you already know, jello. And I'm already freaking out in my head thinking, it's so hot in here. It's so hot in here. Yes, Stephanie, you signed up for a hot yoga class. Yes, it's so hot in here. And I'm like, this is so hot in here. It's so hot in here. This is exactly what I asked for. And what am I doing here? And it's so hot in here. It's so hot in here. And then she goes, okay, chair pose. We're like 45 minutes in. And then she goes, this is what she said. She said, we're going to be here for a long time. I looked at her like this. If you can't see me on my video, I'm making a face like big eyes, making like tight lips, like, are you fucking kidding me? Type of a face, okay? And I made that face at her, and then she starts laughing. She goes, I'm getting dirty looks. And then I started laughing, and then everyone started smiling because I was really giving her a dirty look. And then after class, I was like, sorry for giving you a dirty look. I realized I cannot control my facial expressions. And then she started laughing. She's like, it's okay. I think it was what everybody else was thinking. And I was like, yeah, because what do you mean we're going to hold this for a while? My legs are freaking shaking. I'm not strong enough to be holding this for a while. How long is a while? How long is a while? I've already been here for what feels like a while. You're telling me I have a while more? What's a while? Hello? Can someone give me the answers, or else my brain's going to keep doing backflips being like, it's so hot in here. It's so hot in here. My legs are tired. My legs are tired. It's so hot in here. My legs are tired. Is everybody else struggling? Why am I struggling? It's so hot in here. My legs are tired. Good thing you went closer to the door today, but you're kind of a loser for that. I wonder if your other friends said at the other side of the room, I wonder if they noticed, oh, she doesn't go by this side of the room anymore because she's not a bad bitch anymore. I wonder if that's what they're thinking in their minds. So they're like, wow, where's Stephanie? Oh, she's over there by the door. Oh my God. She's so weak for that. She's just by the door. And this is why my face is like this. What do you mean chair pose for longer for a while? What's a while? So we laughed about that, and yeah. It was a solid class. Honestly, I had a really good time. And then I went home, and now I'm here. So there's that. Okay, what are we here to talk about today? Stephanie, get the train, put it on the track. So first of all, I was reading my journal this morning from May, which this is another reason. Okay, I think people don't like journaling. I know that because everyone's like, I don't journal. And I'm like, I get that. And people don't like journaling because they're like, what the fuck is the point? Just my friend the other day was telling me, whenever I journal, I get angry. So then I stop journaling. And I'm like, ugh. Like the therapist in me wants to be like, yeah, but that's the point. But then the friend in me is like, I get it, I get it. And now let's be honest. I was like, well, you couldn't, that's the feeling coming through. I did therapist a little bit, even though I'm trying not to, when your therapist and your friends tell you stuff that you're like, the therapist in me wants to answer that question. But the friend in me is like this, nah, I get fucking angry too. And I get that, dude. And then I quit as well, which I did tell her that. I just kind of do both. I'm a therapist and a human and a therapist. So I can't really switch in and out. I'm kind of just like, I can switch off the therapist because honestly, being a therapist, I'm fucking over it. I'm going to be honest. I'm fucking over it. The whole identity, everything about it, everything about I'm just like, get that identity away from me. I don't even like it. I don't feel respected in it. I fucking feel underpaid in it. I feel undervalued in it. I'm fucking over it. If I'm being really transparent in this moment, fuck that. Damn, girl. Do you want to see all that? Well, you said all that. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, fuck that. I'm tired of it. I'm not going to rant for longer, but god damn am I tired of it. So anyway, she's like, it makes me angry. And I'm like, yeah, it makes me angry to journal too. And we kind of just talked about it, and then I left it. And then, oh, look who it is. 11 minutes late. Where were you? What do you mean you don't care about the podcast? Oh, you do care about the podcast? Well, what were you doing out there? Where were you even if your big couch bed was in here? What do you mean? He said, just continue, Samantha. It's not about me right now. Oh my God. Why are you giving me attitude? You're mad about something. Oh yeah. He told me earlier. Okay. He told me before we started recording. I was like, Bubs, what do you want to talk about on the podcast today? And this is what he tells me. Ready? This is what he tells me. He goes, I'm not going to tell you about what I want to talk about today right now. And I'm like, why? He said, I want to save it for the podcast. I was like, Bubs, what the hell? You never save anything for the podcast. What? All of a sudden now you're not going to tell me something because of that? And he said, yeah, Samantha, I'm going to tell you on the podcast because I want to, right? Yeah. And the reason was he said, I wanted to get your real reaction. I'm like, what? You want to get my real reaction to what, Bubs? And then he said, I have to just wait. So apparently towards the end, when, Bubs? Towards the end, last 10. He said last 10, he's going to come in and tell me something. Okay. I don't know. You guys, I don't know what it's going to be, but Bub said, okay. So anyway, journaling. And I think people don't want to journal because they're just like journaling into the abyss, right? You're just going to feel your feelings. And then what do we do with that, right? So, I mean, part of it is when you feel, I told my friend, I was like, the anger is not inherently a problem. To feel angry, right? My therapist said this recently. To feel angry is okay. I mean, especially what we were talking about was angry stuff, valid anger. And, anyway, I think what people don't do enough is read their old journals. Like, you guys, if you journal, do you ever read your old journals? Because I feel like that's a whole another level of journaling that is so cool. So here's me circa 5 years ago. I was living a life very chaotically and very different than I live right now. And when I was trying to journal at those times, I'll pick up old journals from that time. I mean, the ones I can find because my life was so chaotic, okay? And I literally will find little entries here and there. I would journal once every 80 days, Like I would just kind of pick up a journal whenever I was feeling something or I don't know, fighting with my partner, and I'm like, do I want to break up or not? If there's a pros and cons list, I mean, maybe, girly, maybe. But anyway, not to make it too blanket, but low key, if we're doing pros and cons, you still have to deal with the cons. Okay. Anyway, so I look at my old journal entries, and they're very scattered, and they're kind of all over the place. And I remember thinking that was the time where I also didn't understand journaling. I didn't really get the point. And I felt the same as I think so many people feel where they're just like, what's the point? I'm just going to sit here, feel angry, throw the notebook in a drawer and then not touch it for 80 days. That's exactly how I used to journal. So I didn't really understand the point. Does it help? I mean, it probably helps a little to journal in that way. But I think when I'm getting this more full experience with journaling, and I know I sound insufferable. I can hear myself. Don't worry. I'm still engaged, locked in, clocked in, bitch. Okay. So when I like to journal in this new era of my healing life is first of all, I keep my journal in a place where I'm not going to lose it. I know it sounds so stupid, but I used to lose my journals all the time. I would do one entry, leave it somewhere and fucking not pick it up for 80 days. Like I just said, or I would pick up a journal and be like, I should write something down. And then I can't find a pen. And I'm like, well, fuck that. I'd rather go to the bar anyway. Right. So it's not funny. Somebody, the way my friend works, though, I know that probably has happened to me before. I'm like, nah, whatever. Healing beer. Fuck. And this is how I've definitely changed. And so what's really helped me is I keep a journal where I know where it is, and I also keep a pen by it all the time. The pen stays with the fucking journal. The pen and the journal are never seen apart. They are never seen apart, guys. They are one entity. A journal and a pen and a journal. Okay? And the journal lives on the coffee table. I really have figured this out in such a different way than I previously did. So to the people who hate journaling, it doesn't make any sense to you. Here's where you could start. Putting the journal where I just said I didn't want to be a therapist. Here I am. It's just who I am. I just want to help. I hate the therapist thing, but maybe I just want to be a helper. So put the journal on the coffee table or next to your bed or whatever and put a pen by it and have it always live in the same spot and try to write down consistently. But really what's really cool about journaling is when you get to read everything back. And to old me, when I used to lose my journals, I would never see the positive impact of journaling because I never could read the old entries back because where the fuck is my journal? But now that I know where not only one of my journals is, my current, I know where my old journal is. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just going to tell you guys. I don't know. Maybe somebody will be like, oh, that's a good idea. But I don't know. And not to gas myself up and be like, I'm just full of them. But so low key, sometimes I feel kind of full of them. Okay. So I finished a journal, maybe I go through, you guys, because I do my morning pages every morning. I do go through a journal once, every month I go through a journal. So I just happened to, my old journal was Cutie. It was this velvet green texture, and I just like really thought that journal was aesthetically pleasing. So when I finished that journal, my next journal I had in my drawer, the blank one, was like an Amazon hardcover, which is like, I don't love it. It's ugly. And I was not excited about it. So I left my cutie olive green journal underneath my hardcover Amazon journal on my coffee table. Are we following? Are we? Okay, great. And so I started to journal into the ugly journal. And then I like had this idea one day where I was like, why don't I draw in the other one? So I'll use the olive green one for drawing. And then I'll use my other one for morning pages. And I like this idea because not only do I get to continue to write in the cutie journal, so aesthetically it's very fucking pleasing. That's my most important point, which is why it came to my mind first. I'm like, it's cute. That's the first good thing happening. It's cute. Thank God. Okay. Because if it's not cute, she's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. I'll tell you that right now. So I look at my old journals and I'm like, no wonder you didn't even like to journal. These ones are ugly. And what is this pen? We don't write in blue. We don't write in blue, Stephanie. You like when your pens are black, or sometimes I like red, but I only like a specific red gel pen. But anyway, I have old ones. I haven't had a journal. Okay, I was in Guatemala in my defense, but I have a journal where I wrote in pencil. I'm like, not pencil. That doesn't excite you. That doesn't give, wow, this journal is so creative, cool, and cutie. No, it gives, I couldn't find a pen, so I'm writing my dull ass pencil. Yes, was I in Guatemala? Yes. Did I have a pen in Guatemala? No, because I forgot one. But did you bring a journal? Yes. And this is why I'm telling you guys, the pen and the journal can never be apart. Okay. Wow. I'm out of breath. Journaling. So I've been drawing in my other journal, and the art is sick as fuck. Like, I draw my art either over a journal entry because, fuck it, I don't have any parents. There are no fucking rules. Okay, thank you. No mom, no dad. I'm like this. I'm going to draw all over this motherfucker. Okay. Not me being rebellious teen. I'm 34. All right. So I'll be drawing all over a journal. I'm writing on the opposite pages where I don't have any writing. And I'm just like, the journal is getting beautiful, colorful, and cool. And anyway, I was drawing a lot in it yesterday because yesterday was my was my day off. And I just wanted to be very intentional about big chillin', draw a little bit in your journal, okay? That's what you're allowed to do today on your day off. So that's what I freaking did. I sat on my couch and I brought all my colored pencils, all my markers, and I just was drawing in my old journal. So I'm drawing like really cool shit. And then this morning when I got home from yoga, I was like, hey, let's look at that old journal and just see the cool shit you drew yesterday because you're really proud of it. So I look at it, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Wow, this is really cool. And then my eyes just meander onto the page. So then I started to read journal entries. It wasn't my intention. It was just what I started to do. So I'm reading these journal entries, and you guys, it was only from a month ago. And from a month ago, oh my God, I feel so different. Like it was giving sad girl. It was giving no future, no feelings of no future, right? We need to categorize that as not real. It's just how we feel sometimes. It was giving no future. It was giving what the fuck? What the fuck am I doing? What the fuck about, you guys already know. What the fuck about this? What the fuck about that? What the fuck about this? What the fuck about that? It was like so much just like sadness and like, I don't know, like lost. I mean, I was just talking a lot about obviously the practice, being a therapist, all these things. These ones make me laugh. I think one day it'd be so funny to just make a bunch of funny videos about my experiences within private practice, but I'm too emotional still that I can't make the videos funny yet. But I wrote down ideas like how you can only message our board of behavioral sciences on Facebook Messenger. That to me could be such a funny bit. The fact that the portals are down for months and months and months, and like, what, Steve? What? You're just not going to act like this is important in any way to fix this, you know? Like that type of silly goose stuff that I dealt with as a therapist, I think will be so funny as like a comedic bit one day, but I'm too pissed about it to think about it. And the fact that we do this all for free because we can't get paid because our claims keep getting denied. Like there's so much like funny material in there. So I was reading through my ideas of bits, and I was like, these are all very funny. So I was kind of laughing. I was like, it's interesting that when I'm the saddest, I also kind of feel like, so sometimes I could be the funniest. So I was cheesing about that yesterday, and I was reading it and I was like, wow, you feel so much better now than you did last month, which is crazy. It was just a month ago. I feel so much better. Like if I compared my morning pages to how I felt last month, it's wild. And what I did in my morning pages this morning, because I didn't want to fucking journal, and here's an idea for people that don't want to journal. I know this is like, everyone's going to be like, I don't have this, but it's like, okay, but somebody does. So if you have an old journal that you wrote in, read that journal and then journal about that. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the content is forever. You know? So this morning I didn't have shit to say. I was like, I'm in a good mood. I don't want to do my morning pages because I'm in a good mood. And sometimes when I do my morning pages, then I start to get in a bad mood. To my friend's point about, she said, every time I journal, I get angry. Yeah, because that's our feelings under the surface that need to be expressed. But I didn't want to feel that. I wanted to float on the little clouds after my yoga class. When I felt so good after yoga, I saw all my cutie friends. I made everybody laugh because I was making a grumpy face. Like I was like, I don't want to do my morning pages. I don't want to think about anything. I don't want to think about my life. So then I was like, well, pick up your old journal, read your little entries, look at your little art. And then I felt inspired to at least write about like, wow, I don't feel that shitty. Like literally my pages this morning were, wow, in May, I felt fucking horrible. And now in June, much better. The way it really is just that simple sometimes, you know? Like, not me feeling much better. What? And I just feel like we don't credit that enough with journaling. We always talk about how journaling makes us feel in the moment, but we never talk about like the impact of reading our old entries. So try that. I'm not being a therapist. I'm just trying to talk like a friend. Okay. So that was my check-in. That was the longest check-in of all check-ins. Do I have anything else to say? Okay, you guys, I watched Obsession over this past weekend, and what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Honestly, here's the first thing I'll say. I love relationship horror. It's like my favorite category of horror, and I don't think we've really touched really much into it until like more recent, more modern horror movies. Maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but to the real horror fans out there being like, there was a movie in 1987 about that, I'm not going to understand your reference because I don't watch horror movies like later than, honestly, like at this point, I probably wouldn't watch anything earlier than like 2020. I don't really go back, you know. I even watched The Ring, like maybe within the last couple of years, and I was like, this doesn't hit like it used to hit, you know. I very much so like I watched horror movies as they were coming out in the early 2000s, so I've seen the OG horror movies, but anything before the 2000s, I haven't seen it and I will not watch it. So I know that like a real horror movie fan would like understand references from like, I don't know, what are the movies people talk about? Like that one with the twins in the hallway. What's that one called? Poltergeist ? Is that what it's called? I don't know. My mom used to always tell me about Children of the Corn. I'm sure it's terrifying, but also I think it was made so long ago. My brain won't like compute. So anyway, if there's been relationship horror forever and I'm being an idiot by being like, this feels new and modern, then let me be an idiot. It's my podcast. Okay. So I love relationship horror type stuff. Like think Together, right? With that movie with James Franco? Not James Franco. The other one. Is there a Franco? Allison Brie's in it. Who's the Franco? Move on. And where they start meshing together and their bodies go together because they like are staying together. That type of shit is fucking terrifying to me. And Obsession is about a girl who gets obsessed with a guy. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching it, I was like, nah, this isn't that far off from the truth in some situations. I've said this before, how I watch murder shows a lot, and how like, what, we're killing each other over a man? Like, it's wild, but it happens often enough that when I was watching Obsession, I was like, this low-key gives our real life. Like, obviously, Obsession was so much, I mean, it's a movie. But part of me was like, this isn't, you guys, people be acting like this. There's things that she said that I've said. I was like, wow, this is like real relationship vibes. But anyway, it was so scary. You guys, here's my spoiler. When she tapes up the door, what the heck? I audibly gasped. So I was like this. She duct taped the door shut. And just I have the chills when I think about it. Just the visual of that. Like, that's your front door and that's what it looks like in this moment. I can't. Nope. No. I'm also extremely claustrophobic, so that just hit me in all the scaries. I was like, like, this is so fucking, oh my God. And then when they're having that quiet little convo in the car, where I was like, this is quiet for too long, something fucking nuts is gonna happen. Oh my God, I'm getting the chills again. He's talking to the girl on the inside. There's a girl in the driver's seat. He's in the passenger seat. Chit chat. His girlfriend is outside the car. You just see her at a split second, just kind of out of the corner of your eye. She's running, which I don't like. When people are running, it freaks me out. You know, like in Get Out, when that guy is running as fast as he can towards the camera. That's such a scary shot to me. It freaks me the fuck out. Anyway, so she's running towards the fucking car, blasts through this glass window, and then starts bashing this girl's head against the steering wheel for so many bashes. So many bashes. I was literally like, oh my God. Like, my feet were on the floor in the movie theater, and I had to pick my feet up off the floor like, like, duh. Like, sometimes I just feel so unsafe because I'm just like, this is scaries all around me, and I feel like terror through my body. Like, oh my God. Oh my God, it was so fucking scary. And I don't like it when she's like talking to him, and then all of us, the actress was incredible. Her switching in and switching out of the character was fucking awesome. But the parts where she would like move her body weird, like that one shot where she started to walk backwards, I don't like that. I don't like when she started, like, you shouldn't be moving like that. Oh my God. How about when she was watching him when he was sleeping? How about when she was like, I like to watch you sleep? Oh my God. You guys, that's my type of fucking horror movie. It was so good. It was so good. And I've been saying, there haven't been a new horror movie in forever. And then I get this one and I'm like, thank you. This movie is everything. It was so good. What are your other favorite parts? Why was she moving backwards? There was like this weird thing with time, I was thinking. But then, because like they kind of made a point at the beginning to be like, all we have in this life is time. And I'm like, well, yeah, but is this getting at something? Every time she moved around weird, I kind of felt like that was a little weird. Like, is it like a scary demon? Because then make her move really weird, you know? But she only moved weird every once in a while. So I was like, she's pretty much a human with like a spell on her. But I almost wanted her to be a little scarier. Is that too much to ask? Probably, Stephanie. It was fucking terrifying. You're asking for more horror? Kind of. I think she could have done more with the whole like demonic thing. If I'm being, she's a therapist. This is why I have to drop the identity, you guys. I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to talk about demons in my horror movies. I'm like, you could have turned up the demonic a smidgy. And she's a therapist. Sorry. Whenever I say wild shit, so I was just in my house by myself, I love to make that joke with myself. And she's a therapist. Like, because it's just silly goose business. So, like, humans are so complex. Anyway, especially me. Well, really, it's just I do be saying the most wild shit. I think people wouldn't expect the things that that I think about or that come out of my mouth to come out of my mouth. I'm like, I'm not really a therapist, you guys. I'm a horror movie fanatic. Only 2010 and later. We're going to pivot. We're going to go doc, and then I'm going to talk self-trust, and then we're going to wrap it. So I watched a documentary yesterday about Action Park. Do you guys know about Action Park? Okay. I didn't know about Action Park. Apparently, if you guys don't know, this is a documentary on HBO. Look at me getting better, healing, growing, changing, bitch. Thank you. I'm like, this is what it was on. This is what it was called. This is what it was on. This is what it was called because da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Which Franco was it? Not sure. Not sure. So I'm not perfect, but I do have, right? We're getting better. This documentary, it's on HBO. It's called The Action Park. It's actually not called that. It has another title, but I don't remember it. Damn it. Fuck. Okay. And it's about this amusement park that was in the 80s. And apparently kids were dying there. Like, it was so dangerous that children were dying, and some adults. And essentially this kid gets like this going down this, like, I mean, there's one ride that does a loop-de-loop. There's like this water slide that has like an 18-foot drop at the bottom, all this crazy shit. Apparently there was in the 80s there was no regulations on amusement parks. Like, which is so wild to think about. Like, what do you mean? Like, okay, I'm going to say my parents' generation, and I know my parents are dead, so technically it's not, my point's not really going to land, but if I had parents, it would land, so just stick with me, okay? Thank you. So, like, what? Like, my parents' generation, like, from when they were, like, in their lifetime, that's part that doesn't really stick, but stay with me. So, in their lifetime, the newspapers were like, should we regulate amusement parks? What do you mean, Steve? Should we regulate amusement parks? Fucking-lessly. My mind is just blown. Like, we just let that shit happen? And the answer is yes, we just let that shit happen. So anyway, they're fucking... multiple people die. There was this wave pool that was, because it was saying how in the ocean with the waves, there's buoyancy because it's salt water. But they had this wave pool, where they were having like ocean-sized waves, but in regular water, not salt water, and people were drowning because they like couldn't get out of it. Like, multiple people died in the wave pool. And all these things were happening. Of course, the man in charge, we've heard this story before. He had friends with positions of power. We've heard this story before. Friends with positions of power, and they just turned their head and let this amusement park just continue on and just be an amusement park for kids for years and years and years, and they didn't close it until 96. What is that? It operated for like from the 80s to 96. 16 years? Give or take. People had died, and they were just like, should we regulate? I don't understand, Steve, why we're not regulating kids flying through the air. You don't want to make sure that they make it to the ground again? No? Nothing? Anything? Hello? Should we regulate amusement parks is the wildest headline I've ever read. And my parents were alive during that time. My parents were kids at that time. I mean, my dad was born in 1960, so in the 80s, oh yeah, he was the perfect market for that. I wonder if he ever went. Actually, he's also from Virginia. Oh my God, Dad. Do you remember Action Park? Maybe I could ask his brother. My uncle, because he would have been like 20. Yeah, dude, it's fucking insane. But then I also started thinking, Stephanie, you gotta stop being so mad at the it's not about this, but listen, mad at the telehealth companies, because Stephanie, they only started like maybe a couple years ago. And if we only decided in 1996, maybe we should close this amusement park that has absolutely no rules and regulations and has killed multiple people, children and adults. Maybe we should just regulate amusement parks. If that wasn't decided until the 90s, then yeah, maybe telehealth companies are going to take a second to get their shit together. Maybe it makes sense that therapists don't get respected, because telehealth companies popped up yesterday and they were like this, hello, profit, and then what, therapists get trampled in the process? Yeah, that makes sense. So like my expectation that like we need to be paid fairly, and like my feelings around all of this, I realize maybe I'm just a little bit early in the trajectory of change, because it's gonna happen. And I sometimes forget that our unregulated amusement parks of the world happened all the way up until 1996. Like I think that they've been regulated forever, you know? I'm like, duh, it's an amusement park. Of course it needs rules and regulations. But there was a time where this was a question. Okay? So there's also going to be a time where, you know, paying therapists $40 for an EAP session, it sounds wild. There's going to be a time. I can't believe that was ever true. Wow. Why did no one say anything about it? Right? Maybe it's just going to take like 40 years. So for that reason, Stephanie, drop your anger, move on. You said what you fucking said. Dude, Action Park was nuts. I was looking at TV like this. What? God, remember the part? Oh my God, remember the part? If you guys have seen it, do you remember the part where there was the loop-de-loop and they were like, oh yeah, we had to make a trap door at the top to let out people who are stuck in this dark tunnel. And what was in the top of the dark tunnel where the people were stuck? Teeth. Why were there teeth there? Because their teeth would get knocked out because they went so fast down this little dark tunnel that they would lose their freaking teeth. Like, no one regulated that. So again, I think I understand why people don't regulate mental health and telehealth either. Also, not to mention all this HIPAA shit, you know? All these security breaches. They're not healthcare companies. They're tech companies. So, of course, it's going to be wild for a bit. It's giving Action Park. I'm not going to lie. The way I can just bring it back to therapy all the time. I don't know. It's a blessing and a curse. Let me tell you, it's a fucking curse. Okay. Okay, I'm going to talk about self-trust a little bit because I've been feeling better lately, and I think this is why. When I was reading my journal from May, I was like freaking out. Hate this, hate that, hate this, hate that. Why did I choose this life? I hate this, I hate that, right? Being a therapist is the worst, You guys have heard it before. I love being a therapist, but I hate the administrative burden of it. Man, do I hate it. I was reading my journal from May, and it was a lot of I hate this, I hate that, okay? And when I was journaling my journal this morning, I was reflecting on what changed, right? Because as a therapist, you ask clients this question. As a therapist, you ask clients these questions when they come to session. I'm feeling way better. Okay, what's changed? You know, what shifted? What changed? And I asked myself that question: what's changed? And I think what's changed for me is that I'm learning to trust myself more. I'm just learning that what I have to say is what I have to say. And the roles that are not fit for me are not a good fit for me. And I'm just allowing that to be true. Like, I'm not going to judge it. It just is what it is. Like, I don't want to continue to put all of these feelings of like out of control on my experience anymore. Maybe I'm not as out of control as I thought, you know? Sometimes I make myself feel a million times worse because I'm like asking myself all these fucking questions of answers I don't have in this current moment. And that stresses me out so much more. Like, I was literally driving down the hill the other day after a really terrible job interview. Fucking went horrible. I'll probably talk about it in the future, but I'm not even ready because it was so fucking bad. And I'm driving down the hill and I literally am just like, I just start laughing because in my head, I'm thinking, what the fuck are you going to do with the rest of your life? What are you going to do for a job? And then I just started laughing because I told myself out loud, I said, Stephanie, I don't have an answer for you right now. Like, I don't have an answer for you right now, Stephanie. Like, the way that my will ask me the same question over and 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 over. Should I continue and over and over and should I continue and over and over and continue, right? Over and over. Thank you again. And when in my mind, I'm like, I don't have a fucking answer. If I had an answer for you right now, we wouldn't be in this position. We wouldn't been in that dumbass interview that you did horrible on. If I had an answer for you, we wouldn't be doing all this. The fuck do you mean? What are we gonna do? I don't fucking know. Like, stop asking me for one afternoon, Stephanie. Like, I literally have to tell myself that. Stephanie, stop asking just for one afternoon. Let's just try to make it to Thursday. Let's just try to get to Thursday. And then on Thursday, maybe you'll have a different idea. But this constant, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? It's exhausting, and I don't really want anything to do with it anymore. So stop asking yourself so many fucking questions you don't have the fucking answer to. Because if somebody else was doing that to you, how would that make you feel? You know? When someone else is coming in, calling you every day, hey, what's your plan? Hey, what's your plan? I mean, it's kind of how your parents treat you sometimes, right? At least my parents. Is this trauma? Stop. Is this trauma? So dead. Not me discovering childhood trauma on the mic. That's how my dad used to act all the time. No, stop. I'm really realizing this in real time. He used to act like that all the time. He would call me all the time and be like, what are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about that? I remember him telling me, you're going to fail if you don't do the things I tell you to do. I know this is just how he tried to show love, but goddamn, was it suffocating. Last episode, I said that. Maybe that's why I do that. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? Does that come from my parents? They used to ask me so many questions I didn't know the answer to all the time. It's kind of like when you ask a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the kid's like, I'm fucking 7. Like, what the fuck do you mean what you want to be when you're... And then you didn't ask that question all the way until I'm 34 still asking that question. Me to me, hey, Stephanie, what do you want to be when you grow up this? And I'm like, I don't know! Okay, so that's childhood trauma. Cool. Thanks, guys, for the fucking space. Where was I going with that? Sorry, I got distracted by the trauma. Oh, yeah. Self-trust. It's just kind of doing the opposite, you know? It's like not asking those fucking questions. If I don't have an answer for you right now, I'm not gonna ask the question stuff. And you know what's weird is ever since I had that realization, I didn't know it was trauma. That was really a just not realization. But ever since I had that laugh with myself the other day where I started laughing because I was like, I don't know the answer to this question. Because it's just so honest. I haven't been thinking like that as much anymore. And you want to hear something that sounds disconnected, but I think is connected? I've been sleeping so much better. I tell you guys, I struggle with sleep so much in this chapter of my life, but lately I be sleeping all the way until my motherfucking alarm. I mean, it only happened for 2 days in a row, but knock on wood, just let that continue. But I feel fucking incredible, and I think it's helped. Stop asking so many questions you don't know the answer to. And it just requires a level of self-trust though, right? Because I think I know when I'm asking myself those questions is because I'm not trusting the process. I'm not trusting that I have the tools to figure this out. It's feeling like I'm going to fail at everything. It's thinking that I made the wrong choice or something, right? Or way down the line, wrong choice in this current moment or wrong choice way down the line. Like, I think that's where that comes from, of this like distrust within yourself. Like, oh, I'm not going to figure this out. Oh, maybe I do need my parents to be asking me every fucking day so I can be successful, when really it's like I don't need to ask the questions. I'm just gonna do it. Because even with the private practice situation, there was really a day where I woke up and I'm like, I'm fucking done. I'm done. Like, I didn't need to ask the question a million times. I just needed to wake up on that day and send those fucking emails. Just make the decision, you know, just make a choice. But I wasn't ready to make a choice. No level of me asking myself, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Would have helped me. All I needed was time, you know? I mean, I needed space to process and then time. And then when I got more time, I was like this, I'm done, you know? So I think I'm just like teaching myself that like, hey, it's okay to like trust yourself and just know that you'll in time figure this all out. Wow, that makes sense to me. Okay. Is that helpful for anybody? Does it matter, girl? Because that was helpful for you. I just need time. I just want to stop getting asked questions. Huh. Interesting. Self-trust. I do think that if we struggle with self-trust, maybe it is from our parents in our childhood or past experiences where things really did fall apart in some way, you know? Maybe you like... I mean, there was reasons that I wouldn't trust myself. Like, I've overdosed on drugs twice, you know? There are definitely times that I've made poor choices that led to poor outcomes, you know? But at that time, I mean, I tell you guys, I've said this before, I knew what I was doing, you know? I was really too mentally ill to even lean into trust, if I'm being honest. At that time, like, there wasn't a conversation around, like, do you trust yourself or not? Because the answer was... I'm just trying to survive my day to day. So it really wasn't about like, do I trust myself? It was more so just like, how do I get through this? Which is a whole nother level of like sadness and brokenness and hurt. So I'll say I've had to elevate myself to this position where I can trust myself. And how did I elevate myself? I go to yoga and I journal all the fucking time. And I go to therapy all the fucking time. You know, and I've been putting in years and years and years of work around my self-identity, my past traumas, my patterns, everything. And that's how I've been able to get to this place of trust. I think that I I say I never had trust back then. I think I've always had this strong internal guide, though. I'll say that. Like, while I did know that doing drugs and fucking around with partying so much was risky, I knew that. Part of me also had this internal guide that was like, you're gonna survive it. I don't know. But actually, no. I mean, there was times that I, like, wanted to die. Okay, I don't know. Maybe this is too dark for the end. This is too dark for the end. I'll probably have to cut this. So, trust. I just don't remember trust back then as much. That was more like I was leading with my ego. What was fun? What I want to do, you know? More like that. Now I'm more so just like, what does the future hold? So I feel like I have just bigger questions for myself. So I'm just not going to ask them. Because if I don't have the answer for you right now, I'm not going to ask it, Stephanie. Because that's on healing your childhood trauma and your inner child. You know, that's reparenting right there. Because my parents used to drive me nuts with that. Always asking me so many questions for answers I did not have. What do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know. Maybe a therapist that fucking hates being a therapist. What a dream. Okay. Okay, Bubs, it's your turn. What do you want to say? Bubsy. Bubs. Hey, Bubs. This is what I deal with every day. Watch. Are you ready for this? Bubsy. Bubs. Bubs. If you're not looking on the camera, I've called his name 1,000 times. He's not looking. Bubs. Hey, Bubs, then you don't get to tell your story. Oh, you want me to tell that story? Oh my God, he is ignoring me heavy right now. He has no interest in talking to the podcast. He said he wanted to. Bubs, dude, you can't just ignore me that much. Stop ignoring me. Thank you. Sorry for the pause. I just had to have a conversation with Bubs, who has made no movement. He told me the story he wants me to tell, though. When I went to go see Obsession, one of my best friends came over. We've been best friends since we were horseback riding. So we've been friends for like so long. We became friends when we were like 6th grade. So we're still really close. She's my bestie. And she came over and she walks into she came over and we left to go see Obsession and we came home. And she walks into the house and she looks at Bubs and she goes, "You guys are kind of starting to look alike." I was like, "What do you mean? Me and Bubs?" She said, "Yeah, you and Bubs, you guys kind of have a similar look. The eyeliner, the blonde, the little blonde stripes, the little Bubsy's little white stripe. I have little blonde streaks." She's like, "You guys really are starting to look alike." And I was like, "Oh my God, I always hear about how people say that they look like their dogs." And I'm like, could never be me. But I'm like, maybe me and Bubs are starting to look similarly. So Bubs wanted me to tell a story. And Bubs, you want me to tell them how it makes you feel? It makes me feel fine. I think Bubs is a cutie boy. What do you think I was going to say? Oh, he thought I was going to get mad. No, I'm not mad. Bubsy, you're a cutie boy. I would never get mad that I look like you. No. I think it's cute that I look like you, Bubs. You like that? He said, "Okay, Samantha." Bubs, you live a big chillin' life and you have cutie eyeliner on, and I think you're the cutest dog in the whole world. So I think it's kind of a compliment that Auntie Ellie said that I look like you. Yeah, I like it, Bubs. Oh my God, he thought I was going to be mad. That's why he wanted to wait to get my real reaction on the podcast, but the real reaction is I think that's so funny. Not me looking like Bubs. I love you guys so fucking much. If you guys want a really good documentary, watch Action Park on HBO. And then it also makes you think like, wow, we're not that far from times like changing. And then I think about like women's issues, you know, and how like there's still such like a wage gap, for example, for women, you know, and like, of course we make $40 for EAP navigating all of this for the cost of a lunch, you know, of course, because we're women. And, but it wasn't that long ago that women didn't have this freedom to do what they do. So I'm going to give the world some time. Steve, if you're listening, I'm going to give you some time, but it needs to change eventually. And thank God we have amusement parks that have rules and regulations now, because I cannot believe there was a time that we didn't. But I watched this documentary. I'm like, okay, girl, believe it. You know, you better believe it, because this is true. I love you guys so fucking much. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the next episode. See you on Friday.